Welcome to Your Story, Our History, a podcast from Londonderry YMCA. I'm Catherine, the project coordinator.
And I'm Hannah, the project archivist. For the past year, we've been on a mission funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund to capture the voices that have shaped this organisation.
We have just celebrated 40 years at our Drummahoe site and are approaching a massive milestone, our 170th anniversary. But history isn't just about dates and buildings, it's about people.
We've invited former and current members, volunteers and staff to sit down with us and share the stories that don't always make it into the history books. These memories make our living archive.
Today we are joined by Catriona, the Youth Work Manager. Under her leadership, the organisation has significantly expanded its reach by operating youth clubs in Tullyalley, Currynearan, Lettershendoney and Eglinton, as well as the main Drummahoe Centre. Catriona shares fond memories of the various youth projects she ran and the young people she met, as well as the friendships formed with Lisa and Willie.
My name is Catriona Coyle.
Perfect. And tell us a wee bit about yourself now. So your age, your occupation, and a wee bit about your hobbies and your family life.
Okay, some age. I have to count that one up. I am 56. See, I was putting myself wrong. I'm 56. Family life, I am a mother of 4 kids. And and I'm the Youth Work Manager here at the YMCA. I have been in youth work for a very long time. Started off voluntary at home, working in the youth clubs when I was 16, and between the youth clubs and Girl Guides, and went into hairdressing, done hairdressing all through my life until Roisin, the second girl, was born. Stopped then, kept doing it part-time, and thought, you know what, I think I could do a degree. So I went back and done my degree when Seamus was born. I think he was 2 that time, and done my degree in youth work, and then done it and started in youth work then. I'm at the YMCA 10 years, and I was working full-time then 4 years before that, between working as an area worker in Lamavady and a centre-based worker in Strathfoy. But worked with the Education Authority from the age of 20 as a part-time worker. Yeah.
Nice. So tell me how you got involved then with the YMCA.
Okay, how I got involved with the YMCA. It was my posts with the Education Authority were all temporary posts, and at that time the temporary post workers were not getting any extensions, so it was coming near the end of time. I needed to look for other work. I had seen the YMCA post up before. They had it advertised out twice, and the first one I'd seen it, but I missed it, and I kind of thought, well, I want to. And then I missed the closing date, so I thought, all right, it wasn't meant to be. And then the next thing, the post came back up again, and I thought, the saying, went for it, and that's where I started off with the YMCA. And started 1st April 2015. Yeah, and I've been here. So, and just coming onto it from the interview, and that, because when I was chatting to Lisa about that, the interview, I was scheduled to have an interview, and the day I was having an interview was the day that I was taking a group away in a residential for another project I was working on. And I thought, oh my goodness, what did I do? So I phoned up, changed my time, was on early, got accommodated, came on early and got the interview earlier, and then headed off on a residential after it. Way a group from St Cecilia's.
All meant to be.
All meant to be. That's the way I, at work, I must have thought, well, it's gone. And then when it came back up, I thought, this is, signs and that. So, so I've been in the YM since then. Came into the YM just as they were starting to get renovations and new work done. the new offices and all that. So yeah, it was an interesting time to start, and has always been very welcoming. Yeah.
So describe a typical day. Like, what does your day look like at the YMCA?
There is no typical day at the YMCA. It varies so much. From being, I suppose, now as a youth work manager, I'm overseeing all the youth programs, all the youth staff. So that's 6 staff. So it is, and that's and out of that, 3 of them posts are the EA Youth Service funding programs. 2 of them are full time, and then the other one is rural. So that's a project for delivery for here, the delivery for Tullyallen, Craignear and rural. And then one of the workers is through the DFC funding, and then the E2T peace funding. So I oversee them programs. So I am ensuring that policies and procedures are followed, child protection's followed, and then all our monitoring and evaluation for our funders are all set up and to be met, and each reporting is done and completed. Staff, and of course on top ensuring looking after staff too in their HR processes, and then also looking to see where we can get all our funding as well, because funding only lasts for a short time. So you're always constantly looking for funding to, one, enhance the programs maybe you're delivering, but also then to keep staff on and keep them in jobs, because you're not only is it that 6 the full-time workers or the workers there's the part-time staff team across it all that you've got responsibility to have work with them. We're talking a team of 25 from full-time to part-time staff and that. And then it's ensuring it's a bit of a responsibility. But I enjoy it. I never feel like I'm working. And that it has taken me a while I enjoyed the young people. And it's taken a wee while to let that go, because now as manager I don't work evenings, whereas before that I was working. My job was working 4 nights a week, and then doing different programs with the young people and that. But there's a good team now coming in under me to take that and work with them. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it's it can be a busy day, from keeping on top of what your funders requires and seeking new funding and coming up with new ideas, and then supporting staff if they have questions and stuff to answer.
Perfect. So what is the single most memorable moment or event you experienced while working here?
Single most? No, I don't know if I would have a single, but there's been a few. The year I started, so Willie Lamrock is the General Secretary at the time. Fantastic man, fantastic manager. The YM has a history of doing raft racing and fundraising, and that May, it was in April, no, it was June actually. We're on in June, and then until May, we're having a raft race. We're doing a canoe from Strabane down to the boat club, and we need people on it. And I thought, okay. So that was something. That was something. We put a full scale red light, blue light emergency on in the river, and that's one. But in terms of young people, I think the TBUC programs, done quite a lot of them, quite a lot of partnerships there with the Rainbow Centre in Gallia, Craig Ban, Youth Club, and then we had a partnership which was Drumahoe, Top of the Hill, and New Buildings. And some of them, the residentials and the trips in them, we done quite a few camping outs. And I remember one year we done a residential in October weekend for Halloween. Thought this was a good idea, but it was camping out, and it was bitter cold weekend, so it was, and everybody sitting around the fire and trying to get heated on it, but the fun was good, all in on it. So yeah, to say there's any one, it's hard, but I do know too, I came here in April, and that November, well, the end of September, start of November, the big brown letter came in, the email came in from ETA. So it was on about, as I say, not a wet week, and we had an ETA inspection not from there. Thankfully it went well, so I thought it was good. I had the first meeting with them, done that. Wasn't feeling too good that day, went to doctors and they said, "You've mumps, you're not working." So the rest of the team had to pull up. And the inspectors, they got a wee bit worried. And I thought, oh, mumps, I don't know. So thankfully there was a good team there and they pulled. We had a good inspection. So there was quite a lot in the first year and stuff between building work and that. But we done a St. Patrick's Day parade too one time. It was good. And that. The borrowers we were dressed as, and it was one of the first times that the YM had been involved in the St. Patrick's Day parade for a long time. So yeah, I think we had a group, nearly 35 young people involved in it. And it was all the workshops before and family coming on, but it's a real family centre as well. We work with young people, but the families are part of it too. I could go on with a whole lot more. Yep.
Is there any more that you want to talk about?
There's a fun day we had down in the field. It was the young people. I can't remember who funded it, but it was a summer family fun event. And the young people at that time, the foam pits were the big things. So we had a foam pit. We had a whole lot of bouncy castles. Full swing was on with a lot of stuff. We had cutouts of a cow so they could know how to milk a cow. We had crazy golf. We had popcorn machines, and it was, but I can still see them young ones on the photos and them just covered in foam. Oh, they had a ball. We had barbecue and everything that day. It was a great event. Good evening. It was just the young people, because they wanted it and what are we going to do? How are we doing it? And it was like, wow, we can actually have some, we've had an input in this, and, they were listened to in the voice here, but they were in and out. I was just glad it was over without anybody getting hurt. So it was, but yeah, it was a really good day.
So what are some of the challenges you've experienced?
Well, one of the big challenges is funding. Funding has changed so much from I've come in. The EA funding itself for the youth club has changed. We're on to the third year so that's 9 years of the model changed, whereas before when it came in, you were it was historical, you got the funding, and that changed there, so that makes big change then. And I mean, the expectations of your funders then change, and then it became a more competitive position, because you never know. You're putting an application, who's competing against you? You don't know. And then you're never sure if there is even going to be that funding opportunity there for the organisation to put in to keep the youth clubs running and that. So I think we're on our third round of funding now, coming in 2026 for Tullahalli and Carrinean. And then we're onto our second round of funding for rural. So, I mean, even those challenges are coming up. Yes, we have the experience and the skills, and it's the relationships that the organisation has built within the communities that has helped us then. Well, we deliver, those communities will like it, but they didn't have the experience. So thankfully, they entrusted the YM to put in the application and for us to lead on them programmes with their support. So that's a big challenge. And I mean, the funding, as we all know, the cost of living has increased so much, but our funding isn't changing. So, you know, yes, I oversee the youth programme, but I'm also involved in supporting Lisa to keep the whole organisation in terms of our running costs. We're a team and that. And yeah, that change with Willie going and then Lisa stepping in has been, you know, it's a big challenge, and we've worked with, it's a good team on that. We support each other and help out wherever. You're not always just doing youth work. It's an organisational wide. And what are our challenges? I think staff, recruiting staff and getting staff and keeping staff, and staff, you know, that changes in terms of, I think, just staff. The staff after COVID, I think there was a change and shift in just people, and then how they viewed their working life situations and stuff. They wanted that balance, so there's been a change there. See that as a challenge in just recruiting staff for youth programmes. And it's not just here, that affects all, you know, both the statutory and all our voluntary youth clubs, because you can't, you know, you're hearing them conversations from others. So it is, and it is 4 nights a week is challenging to work. And I mean, the challenges that young people are bringing now, yeah, some of them are the same as what they were 10 years ago, but some of them have, they're different. They've got more challenges around, you know, keeping them safe, but the online challenges, the behavioural challenges and that. So it has changed a lot, and it can be a lot if you've got a family and that, and working 4 nights and 4 evenings, and it's working with the needs of the young people. And I mean, young people like access in the evening to programmes. So yeah, so that's our funding. And then it's whenever you've got the egg is, we are thankful and grateful for the funding we get from them, but it doesn't always give you enough then to be able to give up other opportunities to young people. So we are constantly looking, how can we enhance our delivery or our programme and that comes in then through different partnerships and stuff we've worked with others and different organisations just to enhance the delivery. And our partners, both in the rural programmes we work with in Tullyally, are great at supporting in terms of, well, what can we do together to enhance it? Or you might have some support there that they'll come in and then look. So the challenges then, funding, cost of living, and the staffing. So it is under challenges of young people.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then thinking back on your time, what is the most valuable skill, lesson or friendship you gained from the experience, and how did it make you feel?
Okay.
Do you want to answer each individually, like skill and then lesson and then, or?
I think it'll be a collective on that. I think, you know, I suppose coming into an organisation that I didn't know nothing about, I was aware of the YMCA because I would have worked with some of the workers that was here in the past, but never worked greatly with them. And that, so you were coming into an organisation that, okay, I really don't know anything about the community or here. So, I mean, that welcome that was here locally, but that welcome also extended to the YMCA Ireland. And I mean, some of the friendships are lifelong there from YMCA Ireland and here. But I mean, Willie was my manager. Lisa was the office staff, and I think we still continue that tradition. Every morning I was coming on and was on having a chat with Willie and things, how the club went, and that just, it wasn't always just work. They looked at, it was you as a person and you and what your life was outside, and Willie got to know everybody, knew our family, knew them all. And asked often about them. So I think it was that friendship and trust. Aye, give me a minute. Coming into the way, yeah, we had a youth club. There was a youth programme running and it was changed, but things were changing within the EA and who our funders were and the expectations of them. So when I came in, I was given a lot of trust by the organisation, and they valued my input and my experience and my skills. And that, I mean, you came in, you would have came to them and came to Willie and the board and said, we need to do this, or this needs to be changed or implemented and stuff. So there was a massive trust put in me from the day I came in that door, which is really invaluable. And then skills. Came into the YM and I was Word. I had done all my training on Word, used Word, and it was, we use Google. I go, what is Google? And Stephen Turner was YMCA Ireland CEO, General Secretary, boss, and he was Google. And Stephen came down. I still remember him coming down and sitting with me for a full morning, maybe near enough well into the afternoon. There's Google, this is how you use, this is Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google, Google, okay. He says, you just work away at it and you'll be grand, figure it out. And you can use Google Forms too for this and for that. And it was just so much information, but skill, if I go now to go onto Word, I really am lost because I can't find where I've used Google that much. It is, just hope they don't decide to go back to Word again. But I think that was a skill, and it really, at that time, when we're looking at as a whole organisation and moving away from paper and into using the computer in that sense, why they were looking at Google and using that, and it kind of just came in. So everything, a lot of our work and that over the last 10 years is now transferred into Google files. Everything is, most of it is digital. That was a challenge sometimes, getting people changed over into digital and that, but yeah, that's I suppose one of the big skills. And I mean, managing staff and managing a big staff team. I mean, suppose I came as an area worker, didn't manage staff there. I came from just managing part-time staff in Strathfoyle, and then to here started, once I was in, it was just, I didn't have anybody, and then all of a sudden I'm managing 6, 7 staff, and that, so even just developing them skills, and then also looking at my experience in youth work and trying to improve it then for other staff coming on and help them, and what we could put in place for their support and their well-being, from line management to supervision and stuff. So yeah, that whole management end, and then making all them dots and connections onto that strategic. Look, you start off, you're down, you're just delivering and stuff, and then you keep moving. Every year it was like you're moving more onto that strategic and looking at a bigger picture, that it's not just about the young people. Well, it is about the young people, but it's about how we can improve for the young people and for the staff and for the organisation, and to help the organisation grow, but also keep its values and that within the development. Yeah. French, if I covered, is there anything else I've missed?
No, that's everything. Do you want to talk about friendship at all?
Well, I mean, I've touched on that. I mean, I've friendships in the last 10, I'd say in the last 5 years, there's been massive change within YMCA Ireland and stuff. But I mean, Willie, it isn't just Willie, it's Willie's family. The connection there. It's Lisa's family, and the board. And YMCA too. How do you put it? Everybody's family. And even some of the partnerships that I've worked with, that connection is there too. I mean, staff have moved on from other roles, but we're still in that connection. You still check in or share learning experience with colleagues outside of the organisation. And that's, yeah, it's given a lot.
And then thinking about the Londonderry YMCA as a whole, what do you believe is the most significant contribution or positive effect your work has had on the organisation during the time?
Wow. My work is that.
Well, youth work, maybe in general.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's just in terms of youth work, it's that the change and meeting the change and the changing needs of youth work and the funding and how, you know, well, I feel there's good systems in place in terms of evidence gathering, you know, that is so important to me, but it's also important to the organisation as a whole that, you know, we're not reporting on something that hasn't happened, and I think there has to be evidence to support everything. So that comes back into our values of integrity, you know, within the organisation is very strong. And I think of the young people, the skills and the opportunities that the organisation and that we've helped developed. And I mean, there's, I'll not name ones, different ones has come through and came in and started as a junior leader and has progressed into volunteer and to paid staff, gained their youth work qualifications to level 2 and 3, and some have gone on to go on and to do their degree, you know, and that's that. Suppose it's the ethos we're creating on here. It's how, you know, and you're asking, well, they're doing it because they've valued the experience or the knowledge and seen what has been given back. Not personally by me, but I see it as a whole team. You know, everybody that works within our team through all the years, from full-time to paid, part-time to volunteers, everybody brings so much and has such a big impact and influence over the young people we work with. And I think, you know, seeing them coming in and going on to do their degree, and I mean, and still continuing to move on and develop and thinking, and them having that belief in themselves, you know, and that's coming from us down. Well, yes, we see it, you know, it's there, and to be able to say, well, actually, you know what, I love working with young people. I enjoy the youth work, and I have the ability and the confidence to go and do it. So that's kind of come through in the whole youth work aspect, and I suppose part of the work that I've done. There's quite a few, and ones is common one, and you know, sometimes it's hard whenever you get staff who are coming in and they're great workers and they're fantastic, and then you go, and they go, I got another job, and I'm thinking, but at the end of the day, we've skilled them up and give them the confidence to go out into a different, whether it's a different field or the same field, or feel empowered to go and try something new, you know, so that's really good. And I suppose another thing is the cafe. So it came out of a conversation that was had, and some young person who is coming on now, hopefully as a junior leader, who is now at that age of 14. She's a bit older than that, must have been, but so we love a cafe in the YM. Why have we not a cafe? And we had a really strong group of junior leaders way back 2018, 19, and working with them. And I think, what about a cafe, a youth cafe? They applied for the funding. They got the funding, they done the paintwork and got the cat and the machine in and got trained and started that cafe. So that came out of our young people, one young person's idea, which is then taken. And sometimes that is I find it's a challenge for young people, because I know in my role now and over my years of experience that some might be said, it could be good 3 or 4 years. And I mean, young people, and I don't blame them, they go tired, they change and that, but it has been there, and it's good to see the cafe coming on, and it's good now that even, it's always been about the young people coming onto it, and they get the skills then out of that they get trained up, that they can actually use that as going on to say, well, I've got experience and skills in barista training and barista delivery, which helps them for their jobs too. So yeah, I suppose that's a few. I don't know if I answered the question. I ramble.
No, that's perfect. And then, just to sort of finish off, is there anything that we should ask you that you feel that's important just to add on to the end of the interview?
Could you tell us maybe a wee bit more about Willie, his character and his ethos, his values, and what he brought to the organisation?
Oh, Willie. I don't know if I could start talking about Willie.
If you can.
He was a character. Willie told some stories, and you often had to pick between the lines and try and figure out what is truth or what has he added on here and that. But yeah, the stories, he was a great storyteller, and remembered, people and made connections with people. You'd ask, maybe say about, particularly within the community, and you're not too sure, and you think, what, do you know this one or that one? He would have been, oh, aye, that's that, and connected to there, and different ones he knew. But not only here, Willie was, knew people throughout the whole of the area, and as a manager, and yeah, you never felt you were managed. You got on with it, but everything was done, as I say, right, and that, and you were following. Everything was checked. Willie became, he knew, he always, I mean, as I already said, 4 children. They've all become involved in the YMCA. Well, they were, don't want to count back their ages now when I started here. Suppose 16 and down. Well, so Seamus was 13. And on up. No. On came on. Roisin didn't get involved as much. I think she was uni, different things, and Catherine was here. But I mean, even though Roisin wasn't involved here, Willie knew Roisin and talked about her. My family was his family. And yeah, he asked about everybody and checked in. And nothing ever seemed to be a bother for Willie on that. And they would have came up with different suggestions and things. The raft race was Willie's idea. And we thought about fundraising one day, and we thought, duck race was done one day. What about a duck race? Oh. Yeah. At the duck race, we were down the Vaughan. Yeah. That was trying to catch the ducks, and we weren't allowed to use nets because of the locks agency, so you were down right out in the Vaughan. Yeah. And he to help the programme, he stepped on Mondays time for our Christmas family event. Santa, amazing Santa he was, and that. Lisa has a good story about that, but I'll let Lisa tell you about it. Willie and being Santa. But he was fantastic with it, the young people as well. It wasn't just us, but he'd come in and he would chat to young people, and he was able to say, such and on and that. And then I've heard plenty of stories about his concerts and him singing. I never managed to get him up to do his Tina Turner act, but yeah, he was always there. Smile on his face. You just could see that. Just the development, for want of a better word. It was just like, yeah, not a character, and few of them about.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Story, Our History.
Our living archive is still growing. If you have a story from the last 40 years at Drumahoe, we want to hear from you.
You can get in touch by messaging us on Facebook or Instagram at Londonderry YMCA Heritage, or emailing heritage.lderry@ymca-ireland.net.
This project is kindly funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Be sure to follow our podcast so you don't miss our next story.
Because our history
is your story.